Hi, I'm Mariah, and I burn for unity and compassion for myself. I stand for it. I stand for it for you, for this community, and for the world. I'm here to talk about what can happen when compassion turns to action. But before we do that, I want you each to think about something you love deeply, something that you care about that's bigger than you. I want you just to hold on to whatever that is and just be in that feeling of love. There was a moment in my life when I loved something and I cared about something so deeply that it changed me, that it broke my heart open, and I had no other option but to do something about it because that compassion needed to go somewhere, and it flung me into action. I had just visited the River Street Shelter and the Homeless Services Center with Natalie, wherever you may be here, I know you're here. And we had spoken to so many chronically homeless individuals. And I was so moved and touched by this part of our community that is extremely vulnerable and really often so invisible. I left that day feeling so small and so tiny and helpless and hopeless, because this was a huge issue, and it was big, and it was messy, and what the heck was I gonna do? But little did I know that Natalie, who really should be up here, was having the same experience as me. And we started talking and sharing, and we got really, really real about how both of our hearts had broken that day. And that was us giving each other permission to care so deep. We didn't know, but we had a moment of clarity, which I can only describe as a moment of courage. A moment where it was so overwhelming to have that much commitment in action. We didn't know what we were gonna do. We didn't know how we were gonna do it, but we were gonna do something. So we gave up Christmas. We started a project. And we were like, let's have a donation drive for our homeless shelters. It took on a life of its own. It spread through our community, our friends, our family, our neighbors, our colleagues. The first year we raised 2,000 donations. The second year we raised 3,000 donations. But I'm here to tell you that the donations are not the outcome. It's not about backpacks and socks and sleeping bags. Because I know today that 3,000 sleeping bags will not end homelessness, will not solve our affordable housing crisis, will not fix our mental health care system, it will not destigmatize substance abuse issues. But what is true is the 300 people who showed up over those 2 holidays and said, I'm gonna do something about it. And they had their own shift towards compassion. And it was those 300 people that kept us inspired. And we call that the ripples. Because when those 300 people are now out in the community and homelessness is brought up, or whatever that issue may be, how are they gonna talk about it? How are they gonna show up for it? How are they gonna advocate for it differently because of that shift? It had me question, what was so different about Natalie and I in that moment that created our compassion to action? Because I care about a lot of things. And I think, and I believe strongly, that the space between compassion and action is speaking about it, and talking about what you love, and giving permission to one another to do that. I asked you to think about what you care about, and I'll ask you now, what's next for Santa Cruz County if you speak about what you love in order to inspire action in others? What's next for Santa Cruz if you don't? I'm a firm believer that kindness and love are often the simplest solution to a lot of our problems today. What if we can just see that the humanity in me is the humanity in you? What can come from that? We have no time to play small for the things that we love. We have no time to be observers. We must be in action. Even the smallest action done with love and kindness can create so many ripples. Ripples of change. And I believe that we can create a tidal wave of change because that's the type of community this is, and that's what's next.